It is. I kept the rain away just for this press conference. I want to welcome you all to a very different Public Safety and Fiscal Management Committee. We're having it outdoors, right? Remind you of school, but we're having this outdoors mainly to highlight the great work of the partnership with the Prince George's County Council, the County Executive's Office, and the Fire and EMS Department. They're doing a great job, and we thought it was necessary to highlight some of the great work that we've been doing over the course of the years since my colleagues and I got here on the council. And so without further ado, I want to welcome you again to Public Safety Fiscal Management. I want to start with recognizing my committee members and my colleagues as well. First, Council Chair Andrea Harrison from District 5, who's also a member of the Public Safety Fiscal Management. My Vice Chair, Councilmember Mel Franklin from District 9. We're right here. We also want to recognize Councilmember Mary Lehman from District 1, who's also on the committee. Who am I forgetting? Councilmember Derek Leon Davis, who's a committee member from District 6. And my colleagues, Councilmember Will Campos from District 2. Vice Chairman Obi Patterson from District 8. Councilmember Ingrid Turner from District 4. Who did I forget? Eric, Mr. Olson, you right behind me. Mr. Eric Olson from District 3, who is a friend of the Volunteer Fire Department, as we all are. Also want to recognize Barry Stanton, the County Executive's Deputy Chief Administrative Officer for Public Safety. Barry Stanton. Our wonderful Chief, Mark Brashore, who's done a fantastic job. I also want to recognize the council member Kennedy from the city of Seat Pleasant. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to recognize the president of the Volunteer Fire and Rescue, Chuck Walker. I apologize. First Vice President Harv Woods. Thank you. The Volunteer Fire Chief of Capitol Heights in District 7, John Weaver. Thank you. And Andrew Pantel is the president of the International Fire and Paramedics Local 1619, could not be here with us today. He's on business, but I did want to recognize him and the great work that our career firefighters are doing as well. And I failed to mention that I'm Councilmember Karen Tolles, the chair of the Public Safety Fiscal Management Committee, and I hail from District 7. Immediately following the press event, PSN will meet to review the proposed budgets for the Fire and EMS Volunteer Fire Department, which is why I thought it was necessary to highlight some of the work that we do in budget so that you can see that, yes, we do advocate hard for our services and we do make sure that they come to fruition. So let's give our fire department another round of applause. Don't this apparatus look great? We also want to have Office of Information Technology and also Homeland Security. And as we consider the proposed spending plans for fiscal year 2014, I want to take this opportunity to demonstrate how we've been working together to make significant investments in the safety of the county residents and our communities. And I believe that number is somewhere between $5 million, in which the investment that we have contributed to the Fire and EMS Department to purchase this apparatus. I also want to applaud our first responders on their leadership. Deputy Chief Administrative Officer for Public Safety Barry Stanton and Fire Chief Mark Brashore. We are proud of the job they are doing to protect us, and we appreciate your sacrifice and dedication, and we are committed to providing the resources you need. And I look forward to our meetings today, Fire Chief Brashore, as we talk about the expectations of the upcoming year. And before I bring Chairwoman Harrison up to give a few remarks as well, I want to just thank also the committee staff, Catherine Lynch, who's the staff for public safety, Frank Porter in the back, who crunches all those numbers for us. Thank you, Frank Porter, our Director of Public Safety Fiscal Management, and our Legislative Director, Officer, who puts all this stuff into policy format to turn it into law, Colette Gresham. Is she somewhere out here? Thank you for your hard work as well. Now call to the podium our wonderful Chair Harrison, and as long as I've been on the council, she has been advocating for the fire department, making sure that we have classes, making sure that they have the apparatus. So let's give a huge round of applause for Council Chair Andrea Harrison.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We even have sunshine. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Well, listen, we want to thank you all for coming out and joining us this afternoon. What we really wanted to do was just show you some of our work in progress, basically. What you see here basically is a fruition of some things that we've done. We put money in the budget because our fire department has been, over the years, just hasn't had everything that they need. And public safety is so important to each and every one of us here in Prince George's County, those of us who live here, those who work here, those who play here, those who pray here. We need our public safety officials to have all of the resources that they need, and so we're working very hard. So we have a few pieces of equipment, and I'm sure that Chief Bayshore is going to talk about it just a little bit more. But we wanted you all to see this, and we wanted you all to know that we're very serious about the work that we do. This is the beginning of a committee meeting that we're about to go in as we continue to talk about how we're going to fund the budget, how we're going to fund and make sure that the fire department in this particular case has the resources that they need. This council, my colleagues who are standing behind me are passionate and committed to the services for the residents, but more importantly for those who risk their lives each and every day for us. They need to make sure that they have, or we need to make sure that they have all of the equipment that they need to keep themselves safe, and when it comes down to it, if it's necessary, to pull in individuals out so that they have a chance at life. And so we, just a small way of saying thank you for what you do. I don't really want to go on too much more, but I will tell you that, we are particularly interested and devoted to ensuring that we give our attention to police, fire prevention, public safety staffing issues, as well as our public safety facilities. And so you will see that reflected in our budget. You will see that reflected in the questions that we ask and the things that we try to do for you and for the citizens of Prince George's County. So just want to take the time just to say thank you so much. We really do appreciate all of our public safety officials, but we're here today to honor really our firefighters, volunteer firefighters, and all of those men and women who run into burning buildings when all of us are running away. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Chairwoman Harrison. We have some work to do in a few minutes with the budget. I do want to also recognize, before I bring up Barry Stanton from the County Executive's Office, I want to recognize Orlando Bago and Bill Taylor, who are part of the Fire Chiefs Advisory Council. So let's give them a round of applause. They do a great job volunteering their services for Chief Bayshore. And I just received some exact numbers, rough numbers of the fiscal year 13. We contributed in the general fund about $116 million for fire, and volunteer about 15.2. So as you can see, we have made significant investments into the fire and EMS. Let's give, as we welcome Barry Stanton to the podium, I want to personally thank him for his relationship with the Public Safety Fiscal Management Committee, with really all of my colleagues as we invest in public safety. He's doing a great job in his role as DCAO for County Executive with Sharon Baker. So let's give Barry Stanton a huge round of applause.
Good afternoon. You know, isn't this a great day for Prince George's County? Let's give this council a round of applause. They do a great job. You know, on behalf of County Executive Sharon Baker III, it is a pleasure to be here this afternoon at such an outstanding event to recognize and promote new apparatus in our fire EMS department. It is my pleasure and honor to stand here with the County Council on behalf of County Executive Sharon Baker to thank them for the gratitude and fortitude, because it does take gratitude and fortitude in staying the course in supporting the funding for this type of equipment and apparatus in the fire EMS department. I say today is an example of how the County Executive and the County Council can work together to address the public safety needs of this county. This is another example of making our county great. The citizens of this great county of Prince George's County should feel proud that their elected officials are working together as a team towards one purpose and one common goal. That common goal is to improve public safety in Prince George's County. And we, as a group, are aggressively moving forward in that direction. As I stand here and discuss our common commitment to what is right and what is good about today, I must give credit where credit is due. That is to our Fire Chief, Mark Brayshore, who had the fortitude to believe that there was a need in this county for apparatus and equipment that would take the fire department to another level of professionalism and pride in doing their job. Let's give Mark Brayshore, Chief Brayshore, a round of applause. This is just not about the citizens, but about the employees who respond to the emergencies every day to protect us and save lives. This shows the commitment this county executive and this county council has towards supporting all the employees and volunteers in the fire service. We say thank you for what you do every day. Yes, Chief Bayshore had a vision in making sure the leaders of this county and this government understood his needs and the requests to improve on his fleet of fire EMS trucks and ambulances that benefit the citizens and the taxpayers of this county. So as I close, I want to thank the entire council. Round of applause. Let's give them a round of applause. The entire council on behalf of the county executive for their support. However, I would be remiss if I did not recognize Andrea Harrison, Council Chair, for her personal commitment, and Councilwoman Tolles, Chair of the Public Safety and Fiscal Management Committee, for their continued support of public safety. What we have accomplished today together and what we are about to accomplish in the future will let the residents and businesses of Prince George's County know that this is one of the best places to live, invest, work, and visit. Again, on behalf of County Executive Baker, I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Barry Stanton, and I want to again personally thank you for your partnership, and I know I can call you any time of the day to ask. We need services. Something's going on in the community, so we thank you so much. And let's give Barry Stanton a round of applause as well. I want to now call up Fire Chief Mark Brayshore, who is doing an outstanding job working together. We know that we are making significant changes and investments in this county to make sure that our fire and EMS department have the resources they need. But it's truly under the direction of Mark Brayshore. And we don't always get along. He knows that. But this is my good friend. He is really a good friend. And he calls you when you have fires in the middle of the night. He calls you when there's a problem. Sometimes he said, oop, I called the wrong district. I meant to call Council Chair Harrison or Mr. Davis, who bordered me. But he really believes in making sure that we work collectively on behalf of the citizens of this great county. So let's give a huge, huge round of applause for my friend and wonderful Fire Chief Mark Brayshore.
I'm excited to announce that Councilwoman Tolles told me that all the council members have agreed to climb the ladder as soon as the press conference is done, so you can line up at the rear to watch that. I'll be with them. I am excited about this. This is a historic investment in apparatus for the Prince George's County Fire EMS Department. Over the course of 3 fiscal years, we will add 11 engines, 5 ladder trucks, 24 ambulances, 9 of these battalion command vehicles back here, the 1 brush truck, which we may end up with a few more of those, and various other pieces to the fleet that are important to what we do. Everything from the carts that we use for special events to the ambulances to these support vehicles. It is a historic investment, and it is important to note that this is not a one-time investment. What we've presented to them is a plan that stretches over a 16-year cycle that involves a buyback program that hopefully, as funding continues in the budget, we have enough there to be able to sustain this program and take it to its fruition to where in 7 years to 8 years, this equipment will end up being sold so that we can purchase new equipment again. And that sale, the money from that sale, will then go towards the investment to the new apparatus, which means less of a general fund commitment. So in the end, the buyback is what makes sense. It's something that we have never done before on a wholesale basis, and we believe it's going to be positive for the fire service. $5.8 million in fiscal year 12, that's what's sitting in front of you right here. $7 million in fiscal year 13, we just placed the order for 4 more engines, 2 more ladder trucks, the 12 ambulances, which could be as many as 15 depending on how the pricing comes in, and then a commitment in the fiscal year 14 budget for another $5 million. The 105-foot aerial behind you, the one that the council members are going to climb in a few minutes, that's a 105-foot aerial ladder, is the tallest ladder in the county. We have 2 of those. One went to College Park, one went to Allentown. The pumper sitting over here, that's the one with the engine, with the water on it. Those have 750-gallon tanks. That's the first time that the county has made the 750-gallon tanks a rule of what we purchase. That does 2 things. In the rural environment, it provides more water quicker to a fire. It also helps us with our insurance service organization rating so that we can deliver a quantity more of water to a scene quicker, thereby ultimately, eventually, reducing our ISO rating, which improves the insurance rates for all county residents. So I am again excited about it today. I'm going to turn it back over to Councilwoman Tolles, and I believe we're going to be doing tours or pictures with the individual apparatus when we're done. After they climb. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Bashore, for your leadership. Fortunately for the residents, I am a lady. I have on a dress. I will not be climbing. So my colleagues can let me know what the site is, if you can see the monuments from here. And Mr. Patterson wants to know, where's the National Harbor truck? Because when you work with Councilman Patterson, he lets you know that he loved District 8 and National Harbor. So, but before we tour the apparatus, Chief Bashore, Chair Harrison, Barry Stanton, we're going to take questions for any of us. But also, we have great staff who help put this all together. All we have to do is show up. So I want to thank Karen Campbell under her team, our communications director, Mark Brady, who is fantastic for the fire department. He does a great job for you, Mark Bashore, and also Bobby Williams, our administrator. I want to thank him for getting us down here and navigating us through committee, as well as I want to thank my Council District 7 staff as well for the great work that they do. I appreciate y'all. Okay. Now we're going to take questions.
You're about to go into the work session for the next fiscal year. How are you expecting that to pan out in terms of you see the?
Well, we're going to hear their budget shortly, and you're going to hear the budget of the fire department. And so I encourage you to come upstairs and hear the questions that my colleagues and I will ask as it relates to where we see our fire department going over the next year. But also, we're still in negotiations. We haven't even got to their budget yet, so we don't know what they have, but we'll find out shortly what they have in there, and we'll see how great it's going to be from there. So, sure.
Let me just say, and I mentioned it earlier, that this council is committed to public safety. And so you can be rest assured that we're going to continue on in that path. You heard Chief talk about the commitment that we've given over the past few years. We don't expect that trend to change. What it will be, we can't say, but believe me, we understand sort of what they go through on a regular basis, and so we're going to make sure that they have what they need. They've been understaffed for years. We've been trying to get their staffing up. They haven't had the equipment that they've needed. We've worked hard to make sure that they've gotten the equipment that they need, and we're going to continue to do that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, Ms. Spivak. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
The county executive's budget delayed the recruit class. Are you going to restore that? I mean, you're going to have people to put on the apparatus?
Well, as Chair Harrison said, we are certainly dedicated and committed to public safety, so I can tell you that that's definitely in discussions.